tell you how Fox is reacting.
And Hollywood goes gaga for the Oscars. We'll predict the winners and tell you what to look for.
A Santa Ana artist creates portraits of the homeless. Up next, we'll take a look at why he's doing it. From Dodge College of Film and Media Arts, this is Chapman News.
Good afternoon, I'm Olivia Young.
And I'm Rebecca Glazer, and welcome to Chapman News. We begin this afternoon with breaking news. Fox announced this morning Jussie Smollett will be written off the remainder of the 5th season of Empire. This move comes after he allegedly staged a racist attack against himself. Show creators initially defended Smollett, but this morning, Fox cut Smollett's role of Jamal from the Emmy-nominated show. Chicago police say they have evidence Smollett played a role in his own attack. He turned himself in Thursday, surrendering and appearing in court for the first time.
Rage. Empire actor Jussie Smollett took advantage of the pain and anger of racism to promote his career. I'm left hanging my head and asking why. Why would anyone, especially an African-American man, use the symbolism of a noose to make false accusations?
Now, Smollett previously claimed he was attacked in Chicago January 29th when 2 men yelled slurs, poured chemicals on him, and put a rope around his neck. Prosecutors say Smollett paid 2 co-stars $3,500 to fake the attack, claiming his motivation was a pay raise. If convicted, Smollett could face probation or 3 years in prison. He posted $10,000 bond of $100,000 bail yesterday, and he is due back in court March 14th.
This morning, New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft was charged with 2 counts of soliciting prostitution at a spa in Jupiter, Florida. The charges against Kraft are part of a sex trafficking investigation in which surveillance videos capture dozens of men, including Kraft, paying for sexual acts. The NFL released a statement saying, quote, "The NFL is aware of the ongoing law enforcement matter and will continue to monitor developments. This investigation is ongoing and no arrests have been made."
So, you're a college student looking for a job. Your prospective employer finds objectionable pictures you posted online years before, and because of that, you don't get the job. That may be happening to more and more people looking for work. And in Virginia, the governor's racist pictures from his yearbook 30 years ago may ultimately cost him his job. Mallory Sullivan has more.
Virginia Governor Ralph Northam has recently been under fire after a racist photo from his 1984 yearbook showed 2 men in a KKK costume and blackface. He initially confirmed he was one of the 2 people in the photo and apologized on Twitter, only to then deny it all in a press conference 1 day later.
In the hours since I made my statement yesterday, I reflected with my family and classmates from the time and affirmed my conclusion that I am not the person in that photo.
Protesters are taking to the streets to call for his resignation.
Northam has got to go! Hey, ho, ho! Northam has got to go!
Today, social media plays a major role in our lives. Though old yearbook photos may not come back to haunt us, the age of social media poses a different threat. Positive media psychologist Dr. Sophie Yannicka Bowles warns that social media plays a big part in employment.
So a study from 2017 has shown that 70% of HR managers are actually looking at the social media profile of future employees to check them out, and whereas 54% of those hiring managers decide not to hire a candidate because of what they post.
But college students don't know to what extent. Recruiters sometimes also look at private accounts or fake Instagram accounts, also known as Finstas.
Most people I know do have 2 separate accounts. One is more of like their the image that they are okay with their grandparents seeing or family members, but then another one is for more closer friends. So I feel that like as you said, like not many people know that employers can see that Finsta.
Like, we do live in a technology-driven world, so it's obviously good to know stuff about certain candidates, but for certain things, like, people are just being people at the end of the day, and if they post something that's not, like, I don't know, too bad, like it shouldn't be held against them, but definitely keep inappropriate content off of social media in general.
Chapman University's Career and Professional Development Office provides students with lifetime career navigation and skills on how you can avoid being America's next big scandal.
I would definitely avoid things that are controversial, anything that can be discriminatory against any specific groups at all. Also, posting anything negative about a previous employer is not really good practice. And then anything that might indicate that you have lied about something significant also wouldn't be good. And then pictures that, as you mentioned, with drinking or using drugs or anything like that. Also, any type of criminal behavior or could be construed as criminal behavior would not be recommended.
Be mindful before posting because you never know who's on the other side of that screen. Reporting for Chapman News, Mallory Sullivan.
And if students are unsure about what they've posted, they can always check with Chapman's Career and Professional Development Center, located across the street from DeMille Hall.
Voters are heading back to the polls to pick a new member of Congress. Testimonies have confirmed election fraud in North Carolina's 9th District. Republican candidate Mark Harris's win in November was actually a result of tampered absentee ballots. Harris's campaign manager now refuses to testify. The North Carolina Board of Elections unanimously voted to hold a new election to remedy the potential election fraud.
Your soda may be costing you more, and you may be getting less of it. California lawmakers introduced a bill in Sacramento that would prohibit sodas of more than 16 ounces, often referred to as big gulps. The proposal would also put a tax on the cost of the soda you buy. Sponsors of the legislation say the taxes would help pay medical costs for sugar-related diseases like diabetes. They also hope the tax will enforce people to think twice before buying that soda. The beverage industry, which strongly opposes all of this, says it's treating people like children.
Nearly $8,000 worth of artwork depicting characters from the Peanuts comic strip was stolen last week. Thieves broke into the Chuck Jones Gallery in Costa Mesa and stole 3 pieces of artwork of Charlie Brown, Snoopy, and other characters from the comic strip. The break-in occurred when the mall was closed, and as of now, no other art has been reported missing.
We've been experiencing some interesting weather patterns in the past couple of weeks. Was it really snowing in SoCal yesterday? Natalie Rawson has more. Natalie?
Thanks, Rebecca. That's right. It wasn't a dream. There was snow in Los Angeles last night. Reports of the fluffy stuff came in from West Hollywood, Pasadena, and even Malibu. Snow levels dropped below 2,000 feet, with a few flakes reported at as low as 1,500 feet, the lowest elevations we've seen in 4 years. This cold storm system that originated in Alberta, Canada, swept down through Southern California, then moved out late Thursday evening, leaving us with very cold temperatures, but drier conditions as we move into next week. SoCal wasn't the only region greeted by this unusual visitor. The same storm dusted Las Vegas with a ½ inch of snow Wednesday and another ½ inch last night. Sin City hasn't seen any measurable amount of snow in over decades, leaving tourists with one more sight to see. I'm Natalie Rawson. Stay tuned, and I'll let you know what to expect this weekend in Orange.
Coming up on Chapman News, who will take home the Oscar in this year's most anticipated and arguably most controversial award show? After the break.
Today is the beginning of a bright new future for this country.
I won't live a life on my knees.
The voters are coming.
You've probably noticed something a little different about Chapman News this semester.
That's right. We're in a new home, a new set designed by noted scenic designer John Ivo Gillis and built in North Hollywood by Centerline Studios. Now, at the same time they were building our set, they were building the set for the Academy Awards right next door.
We've also got new cameras, new lenses, and new lighting. We couldn't be more excited about our new and improved production, and huge thanks to everyone that made this possible.
We have Gianna Gravelisi with news on a bigger production coming up in a few days. Gianna.
Hey guys, it's Gianna Gravelisi with the hottest tea in entertainment news this week. Grab your popcorn and pull out your ballots because this Sunday, Hollywood will be buzzing with the Oscars. But this year's award show has sparked some major controversy. For starters, the Academy said that they'd be announcing awards for cinematography, film editing, hair and makeup, and live-action shorts off camera during the commercial breaks. This was an attempt to shorten the show to a maximum of 3 hours, but was not well received by the film community. 2 days after the decision was released, more than 40 high-profile celebrities took to the internet in an open letter urging the Academy to reverse their decision, stating that it would be an insult to those that have devoted their lives and passions to film. Thanks to the strong-worded letter, the Academy has since reversed their decision and is set to include the 4 categories in the live broadcast this weekend. Last year's Oscars hit an all-time low in ratings, with about half the viewership from previous years. The 2018 broadcast with Jimmy Kimmel raked in only 26 million views, coming in much lower than the 2014 Oscars hosted by Ellen DeGeneres, which had over 43 million. The reason for the severe drop in ratings is unknown to major networks, but the internet speculates that it may be from younger generations following the show exclusively through updates on social media. Speaking of social media, tweets that resurfaced from over 10 years ago have left the Oscars hostless for the first time in 30 years. Actor and comedian Kevin Hart was supposed to host this Sunday, but after homophobic comments were dug up by Twitter users, Hart stepped down.
I don't want to step on that stage and make that night about me and my past when you got people that have worked hard to step on that stage for the first time and receive an award.
After his apologies were overlooked by the public, the prestigious position of presenting was left unfilled. Despite the lack of a host, the show must go on. Let's take a look at the top categories and who everyone's betting on. Chapman to figure out who students pick as their favorite for each category.
Best Picture's definitely got to go to Black Panther.
And why is that?
It was just a solid movie. Their approach was very unique in the sense that there's never been a type of superhero movie like that.
Well, I think Black Klansman will win because it's such a different story than what we've seen before, and it's based on a true story, and people just love that. They're like, oh my god, this happened, and it's in a movie.
Who would you like to see win for Best Leading Actor? You know, Rami Malek is the favorite, so do you agree or disagree with that?
I definitely agree. I think that he's going to be a sure winner because he had just such a great portrayal of Freddie Mercury. You know, they won Best Picture and Golden Globe, so yeah, I definitely think it's going to be really good.
I love Bradley Cooper, but probably Rami Malek will probably win for Bohemian Rhapsody just because that movie got so much hype. But back to Bradley Cooper. Totally got robbed for the Best Director nom.
Although Glenn Close is the favorite for Best Leading Actress for the Oscars, who would you like to see win and why?
I think I would absolutely love to see Lady Gaga for A Star Is Born. I think her performance was absolutely profound.
Okay, so I know Lady Gaga isn't the favorite, but I really think she did a phenomenal job really stepping outside of her comfort zone. We all know her as a musician and artist, and that's kind of what she's always been to us, but she really killed it in this role and was able to exemplify all of her talents, and I think that's totally deserving.
We're just gonna have to watch on Sunday to see who takes the cake. Speaking of cake, James Corden surprised Ariana Grande with a huge cake on his show Wednesday night to celebrate her most recent accomplishment. Not only is her latest album, Thank You Next, the #1 album in the country, but she currently holds the first, second, and third position on Billboard's Hot 100 list. The last artist to do this was the Beatles in 1964, making Grande the first solo artist to ever receive this title. If you don't like Ariana Grande, then you'll just have to let it go, because Frozen 2 is real, and it's happening. The trailer dropped on February 12th and was viewed over 116 million times, more than any other animated movie trailer in history. Unlike the typical Disney trailers, Frozen 2 seems to have a more dark and serious tone, with absolutely no dialogue. What does this mean for Elsa, Anna, and Kristoff? Well, I just guess we'll have to wait this November when the film comes out in theaters. That's all the entertainment news I have for you guys this week. Back to you guys at the desk.
Still ahead on today's newscast, Yosemite on fire? If you were fooled, so were we. And will your weekend wash out? Natalie has the 5-day outlook.
Today is the beginning of a bright new future for this country.
Won't live a life on my knees.
The voters are coming.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help.
You were probably going to turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
For years, the state of California has been allowed to set its own vehicle emission standards, which are generally tougher than the rest of the country because of the bad air pollution here. In fact, 13 states have followed in California's lead. But this year, the Trump administration said what California has been doing is illegal, and it must now follow the national standards. The two sides have been talking, trying to reach a middle ground. But now those talks have ended with no agreement, and it looks like this one will be heading to the courts.
A February phenomenon, Yosemite's firefall, has returned. Visitors are flocking to the park, posting on social media to capture what appears to be molten lava falling off the face of the El Capitan. This spectacular sight is caused by sunset hitting Horsetail Falls, lighting up 1,500 feet of El Capitan's edge.
Natalie Rawson is with us again. So Natalie, can we expect more rain this weekend?
We actually should be getting a break from the rain, even a little sunshine this weekend, but I do have to say this rain isn't all bad. Scientists are now expecting a possible wildflower super bloom this spring. We saw a similar occurrence back in 2017. Here are some pictures of the Anza Borrego State Park at the last super bloom. A bloom like this happens when a wet year follows a bad drought, which is exactly what's happening now. Something to look forward to after all this winter weather. As for now, looks like we'll be taking a break from the rain, like I said. 58 degrees and sunny currently in Orange. And for the rest of Orange County, we're looking at pretty similar temperatures all around. Down in Laguna Beach, it's a little bit colder. We have, there we go, 61 degrees, and then San Clemente, we're looking at 56, a bit chilly. As for the rest of Southern California, Big Bear, a little bit chilly at 30 degrees, but Palm Springs, 62, and then down in San Diego, 58 degrees, nice and chilly. As for our 5-day forecast, like I said, we're going to get some sunshine this weekend. 59 degrees today for a high, a low of 38. 62 tomorrow and 42 as a low. Cloud cover will begin to move in as we go into next week, but temperatures will be rising. So by Tuesday, we're going to see 67 degrees and a low of 48. That's all I have for you today. I'm Natalie Rawson. Back to you guys at the desk.
The start of the new year was met with major flooding in Chapman's newest student housing, Chapman Grand. Chapman officials say a main water line broke on the 4th floor, with water levels rising as high as 4 inches down to the 1st floor. This resulted in extensive damage to more than 60 rooms in the residence hall. Nearly 100 students living in the complex were forced to relocate. I spoke with resident Sam Geller, who says his room filled with water. Geller has since taken matters into his own hands, packing up to move elsewhere.
I walked into my room and was stepping into a couple inches of water. You know, I had speakers that were on the floor. You could see where the water level had gotten to on the speakers, about halfway up of an 8-inch speaker. So at some point there was about 4 inches of water in my room alone. A lot of my stuff I'm still kind of figuring out if it's damaged. You know, I had about 80 record albums. You know, I walked in and I'm looking at my guitar pedals sitting in water, my amplifiers on the ground on a carpet that has water running up to it. So it was kind of just really surprising to see how much water had been in there. It was really a disorganized process of just kind of figuring out how you can move your stuff as quick as you can to get it out of this water.
Over a month after the flooding, Quad D is still under repair. Officials say the cause of the water main break is still under investigation, and there is currently no estimate for how long these repairs will take or when students can return to their homes, away from home, in the dorm.
The artist who's helping out Santa Ana's homeless, one brushstroke at a time. Stay with us.
And coming up on the Best Campus Sports Show, Corwin Feerick joins me for this week's edition of Athlete of the Week.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans, because love has no labels.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help.
You were probably going to turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Best Campus Sports Show. I'm Brad Benson. You know, it's been a while. I've missed this. Well, it's been a very uneventful MLB offseason, and it finally came to an end with pitchers and catchers reporting last week and a big-name free agent finally signing with a team. On Tuesday, Manny Machado agreed to terms with the San Diego Padres on a 10-year, $300 million contract. The four-time All-Star and two-time Gold Glove winner spent the first 6 years of his career with the Baltimore Orioles before being traded to the Dodgers midway through last season. Multiple teams were interested in Machado, including the Phillies, White Sox, and Yankees, but ultimately he chose the Padres. Machado's massive free agent contract is the largest in the history of North American sports. Your move, Bryce Harper. Athlete of the Week is returning for another semester. This week's honor went to Chapman basketball player Corwin Feerick. Last week, he set a career high in blocks, had his first career double-double, and made his first career three-pointer. As always, I met up with him for a little fun competition. I'm here with this week's Athlete of the Week, Corwin Feerick. Last week, he made his first career three-pointer, so today, we're going to have our own three-point shooting contest. 30 seconds each, whoever makes the most wins. You ready?
Let's do it.
Let's go. Last week you made your first career three-pointer, and then you made two more. Why'd you wait so long?
Honestly, I've been a three-point shooter my whole life, but coming into Chapman, I had a different role on this team, and I just thought, you know, senior night, might as well just go all out for it.
You are a senior, and your season's over. What are you going to miss most about playing here at Chapman?
Definitely the camaraderie that comes with playing with the team. I love all my teammates. They're my brothers. I'm going to miss competing with those guys every day on the floor.
Well, he got 6, and I only got 1, so I guess he's just proven that bigs can be shooters too. For Corwin Feerick and Brad Benson, this has been another edition of Athlete of the Week. In case you were wondering, Corwin is 6'7" and I'm only 5'10". Well, the women's basketball team is among the most prolific programs in recent Chapman history. But maybe even more important is the groundbreaking strides they've made in racial inclusion over the years. Reporter Pranav Iyer has more.
Last season, there were 16,614 women's basketball players across the 3 NCAA divisions. Of those, over 8,000 were white and over 5,000 were black. But only 179 were of Asian descent, a mere 1%. With representation in the sport so low, many Asian American players have felt a deep sense of isolation and discrimination on the court, including current Chapman head coach Carol Ju.
When I played at Claremont, some kid from Minnesota says, I got the Oriental kid. And I was like, that's furniture, dude. I played against other kids in the area and they go, I got the Chino, or I got the Jap, I got the Chink. You gotta prove it on the court.
Ju, the lone Chinese American head basketball coach in all of the NCAA, has become an icon in the Asian American community during her 16-year coaching career for bringing in and mentoring what is likely the most Asian populated team in the country year in and year out.
Someone said to me, you're giving an opportunity to Asians. And I was thinking, no, I'm giving opportunity to basketball players that have the skill, that have been playing till 5. Show it off. Know that you can play. But I didn't realize that I was giving such a great opportunity in our community, Asian community.
It kind of felt at place in a sense that because I was growing up playing Asian League and I grew up playing at South High School where a lot of my teammates were also Asian American, so it wasn't a huge transition. I think it definitely was what I was used to.
Sophomore guard Cameron Hamaguchi has taken great pride in her culture and sees it as an opportunity to inspire the next generation of Asian American hoopers.
The main reason that I wanted to come here was because I want to be a role model for the Asian community and show that, like, especially for young girls, that like they can play college basketball and like they can get recognized, and like you don't have to like sit in the shadows. Like you can definitely go out there and do whatever you want to do as long as you work hard.
Reporting for Chapman News, this is Pranav Iyer.
Unfortunately, the ladies' season ended last night after losing in the first round of the playoffs to Pomona Pitzer by a score of 62-75. Well, the madness of March is starting a month early. Last Saturday, number 21 Iowa was taking on 12-12 Rutgers in a Big Ten conference game. Rutgers took the lead with 3.2 seconds remaining, and then this happened.
1-point lead for Rutgers. 3.3 on the clock.
Baseball pass.
Tip. Caught. Shot. The buzzer. What a shot for Iowa.
I don't believe what I just saw.
If that's any indication on what we can expect next month, then there's a whole lot to be excited about. March is going to miss you, Zion. Well, that's all I got for you today on the Best Campus Sports Show. I'm Brad Benson. Back to you, Becca and Olivia.
We end today with a story that caught our attention. It's no secret that homelessness is an ongoing issue in Orange County, but one local artist is helping his homeless neighbors, one painting at a time.
Faces of Santa Ana is a nonprofit organization here in Santa Ana, California, and we go out and we befriend our neighbors living on our streets. And we paint their portraits, large scale, and then we sell that artwork and we use that money to help them. And the heart of what we do really is two things. It's making homelessness personal to meet individual people, and then it's also building relationships with people in a population that are really isolated from the rest of us. When a painting sells, we're able to raise $1,250 for that person. And so what I do is I go out into the streets and I say, how can we help you with that money? So we keep the money in our nonprofit business account and they tell us how we can help. But I believe that the heart of what we do is building trust. We said we'd paint your portrait. We said we'd do our best to sell it. And now that we have the funds, we said we'd help you with whatever it is that you'd like to do. And so we really believe that that's the trust builder. That's the area where we become more like family. Once meeting a client, we always, 100% of the time, take a photo with our phone, but print it out in black and white. Who is this person? Like, I want to paint them in a way that they might not see themselves yet. And so it's my responsibility as an artist to interpret not just the image, but who they are in their heart. And so that's why all of my paintings are different. Like sometimes you look at them and you're like, did the same guy actually do that? And I love that because I really try to get myself out of the way to just flow and move in love, to just flow and really communicate who this man is, despite of me being the artist. And I think this is the process for me. Black and white, and I add the color. I show you who you are. And so when we reveal a painting, it's always the canvas is turned away from them, and we turn the canvas around and we say, hey, this is who you are. You're not defined by homelessness, the gray cloud that you carry. When I met Christopher, I actually asked him, I said, hey, what's your favorite color? Like, what color would you like me to paint you in? He said, I'd really like you to paint me in maybe grays and blacks. That's what he said. And I was like, no way, man. You know, but that was an image, that was an inside look into his heart and how he sees himself. And so I think he's going to be super excited to see himself in full color. Artists have the responsibility of telling the stories of the times that they live in. And so I feel like that's all I'm doing in our city, is we're just depicting the times and we're helping other people see with new eyes. We've had a lot of people say, wow, I never saw homelessness this way until you showed it to me in a new light.
Wow, that's some beautiful art for a great cause.
That's so cool. Don't miss an episode of Chapman News. Follow our YouTube and social media accounts on Chapman News.
And thank you for tuning into our show. I'm Rebecca Glazer.
And I'm Olivia Young. Have a great weekend.